Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches to share with you from the brand Iscream Nails. I have 10 polishes total, so 4 of which are from their Rose Quartz collection, one of which is a release that's happening this week. It's just one polish release, and then I have, what does that make, 5? 5 other polishes that are available in their shop right now, 4 glitters and a neon. So I do have 10 polishes to share with you today. He was not having it, letting me film. But in the description box below, I will link the Iscream site, I will link their Instagram page, and I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from today's video. And then I will also link a page to their stockists. They are an Australian company, they do ship worldwide, but if you planned on ordering from a stockist anyway, like if you were interested in more brands as well, I will leave that in the description box below. So I do have 10 polishes to share with you today, and let's go ahead and get started. So we will go ahead and start with their new release, and this is called Super Starfish, and this is a bright corally pink jelly. So starting off on a terrible note, I actually lost my full finger footage for this swatch, but they are there for the rest of them. But this polish is fantastic. Super Starfish is completely opaque in 3 coats. It is nice and squishy where you can make a jelly sandwich out of it. It dries extremely fast and extremely glossy on its own, though you will want a nice glossy top coat if you want this to last, and it has a perfect formula on it. So there is 3 coats. Moving on to the Rose Quartz collection, this is Mystify, and it is a super light gray. It is pretty much white with just a kiss of gray, and it is a cream. Here's our first coat of Mystify. And another flawless formula. There's no running or pulling or staining or anything like that here. I did oil my nails. I had a subscriber say something about cleaning my nail beds in between oiling, and I actually did do that, but I guess I missed some of it, so I apologize about that. This is either way completely opaque in 2 coats. It also dries extremely fast and extremely glossy on its own. Again, a nice, easy one to work with. I could see needing 3 coats for this, but it was completely opaque in 2 coats for me, and it also self-levels really nicely as well. So there's 2 coats. Up next, we have a Love Remedy, and this is a super light pink. It is, again, very white with just a kiss of pink, and I did want to go ahead and show it to you next to Mystify, so you can kind of see, it's going to freak my camera out, you can kind of see that there is those colors in them, but when you're looking at them individually, it looks so close to white. So here's our first coat of Love Remedy. This one also has a good formula. It is a little bit thinner than the previous polish, but it is still very easy to work with. I didn't have any running or pulling, but I believe if you did a thick enough coat, that might be an issue. If you use base coat, it wouldn't be. I don't use base coat when I swatch, though I should. So here's 2 coats, and it builds up nicely here on 2 coats, but it is still just a little bit sheer, so I am going to go ahead and do a 3rd coat. Again, this one is going to dry fast and glossy on its own, but you will want a nice glossy top coat if you want it to last. And I don't know if I need to say it or not, but I didn't have any staining. So here is our 3rd coat, and this does cover completely in 3 coats for me. And I did want to say that it might look a little bit patchy here still on 3 coats, but it self-levels really nicely, so if you give it a moment after applying it, you know, between applying your top coat to self-level, it will cover completely and just fine. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Pink Potion, and this is a pinky mauve cream. So here's our first coat of Pink Potion. Once again, a fantastic formula from Iscream. I really don't expect anything less at this point. This one is a little bit sheer here on this first coat, so I am going to go ahead and build it up with 2. But this does have a great, easy to work with formula. They are pretty much beginner friendly across the board with their cream formula. So here's 2 coats, and this does cover completely in 2 coats for me. Again, with the self-leveling properties, it might look still a little bit patchy here on camera, but you'll see in my swatch photo that it absolutely wasn't. You have to give it a few moments to self-level after applying it for it to look not patchy, but it does cover completely and it dries fast and glossy. So there is 2 coats. Next up we have Sorceress, and this is a metallic purple, leaning kind of pink shade. So here's our first coat of Sorceress. This one has a phenomenal formula, easy to use, easy to work with, no running, pulling, staining, anything like that. This one's going to dry smooth because those are shimmers as opposed to glitters. And it's not going to be difficult to remove as far as scrubbing, but it will kind of make a mess upon removal on your skin. It does want to stick to your skin, so just bear that in mind. This does cover completely in 2 coats, and it dries relatively glossy on its own, though you will want a nice glossy top coat to help bring everything together. You don't have to worry about brush strokes with this one either. They might be very slightly there when it's wet, but when it dries they are completely gone. So there is 2 coats. Moving on to the not new releases slash not in a full collection, we have Pineapple Punch, and this is a bright neon yellow shade. So here is our first coat of Pineapple Punch. For a neon yellow, this covers really well here on this first coat. It is obviously not completely opaque though, so I am going to go ahead and build this up with a couple more coats, but this does have a phenomenal formula, no running, pooling, or staining. And I've noticed personally with neon yellows, I get a lot of skin staining, but not nail staining, and I didn't have that with this one. So here's the second coat, and this builds up really nicely in 2 coats, where if you're not super picky, 2 coats would be completely fine, but I am going to go ahead and build it up with a third. This, per the usual of neon polishes, does dry to a matte finish, so if you don't like that, you will want a nice glossy top coat to finish this one off. So here is our third coat, and this covers completely in 3 coats for me. Again, I didn't have any issues with removal here or application. And this one will also dry relatively fast as well. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Mint Pattie, and this is a green micro glitter in a clear base. So here's our first coat of Mint Pattie. I am going to go ahead and build this one up on 3 nails, and then my accent nail I am going to layer it over the Teal Appeal, also from Iscream Nails. This has amazing coverage here for a glitter on the first coat. It is obviously not completely opaque, so I am going to build it up, but it has a great glitter to base ratio. I didn't have any kind of issues with applying it, with the glitters wanting to pile up in one area or anything like that. It is going to dry textured, so you will want 1, maybe 2 coats of a glossy top coat, and it is going to be difficult to remove, so just bear that in mind. But it does spread out really nicely as a topper as well, while being completely opaque as a glitter on its own in 3 coats. So you are going to want to use a peel off base coat for this one, especially if you're building it up on its own. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Mermaids Made Me, and this is a fairly new release one. This is a blue micro glitter, again in a clear base. Here's our first coat of Mermaids Made Me, and on my accent finger I have Ice Cold, also from Iscream Nails. This one has okay coverage here as a glitter on its own. It's not nearly as full coverage as the previous polish was in the first coat, but it does build up really nicely with 3 coats. Once again, this one is going to dry textured. It actually doesn't dry as textured. These glitters do lay relatively flat, but you will want a nice coat of a thicker glitter-eating glossy top coat and some pure acetone or a peel-off base coat, because it is very difficult to remove as well. This one also I prefer as a topper. The last one I definitely preferred on its own. I thought it was very beautiful, but this one I prefer as a topper. I feel like it just would accentuate any cream polish that it is layered over. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Disco Candy, and this is a silver holographic micro glitter, again in a clear base. So here's our first coat of Disco Candy, and then on my ring finger I have Jungle Juice, also from Iscream Nails. This one has pretty good coverage here on this first coat by itself. This is another one though that I do prefer as a topper. It is very beautiful on its own though as well. I would wear it both ways, absolutely. This covers completely in 3 coats on its own. It does have a beautiful glitter to base ratio, again with a fantastic formula. It is going to dry textured, so it is going to be difficult to remove. You will want a peel-off base coat and a nice thick glitter eating top coat to smooth this one all out. So there is 3 coats. And lastly for today we have That's Rich, and this is a gold micro glitter in a clear base. So here is our first coat of That's Rich. Again, a perfect glitter to base ratio, very easy to work with formula, buildable in 3 coats on its own, and absolutely beautiful as a topper. I do have Licorice Twist, also from Iscream Nails, on my ring finger today. It is their black cream polish, just a 1 coater. I would wear this absolutely both ways. I love this as a topper, and I do love this on its own. Again, it is going to dry pretty textured, so you will want a nice glitter-eating glossy top coat or 2 coats of a glossy top coat and a peel-off base coat or pure acetone for removal. So there is 3 coats. So of today's 10 shades, Pink Potion is my favorite. I love this shade of pink. I mean, Iscream has some of my favorite pinks in general, but this one is like my favorite shade of pink ever. So I love this. It has a great formula, just absolute perfection. So Pink Potion is my favorite. And that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye.